Butler Grinch Classic Rock D93. Tommy Starr hanging out with you on Off Topic. And in the studio with me today, I will let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dylan Nightingale. I am the founding lead guitarist of the band TREAZON, TREAZON.
That's right. Now, you and I have been talking off and on since like last summer.
Yeah.
And I've been telling some friends about you, and I said, man, I met this guy via the interweb, chit-chatting back and forth last summer, and I was blown away at your knowledge of music, but most especially hard rock and heavy metal. And I was like, I'm a little intrigued. So before we get into the band, let's talk about that. How do you know so much about this music?
Internet.
That's okay.
You know, just aimlessly browsing Discogs and metal archives and forums like Heavy Metal Rarities or sites like Heavy Harmonies, you know, or even just random like Brazilian blogspot downloading sites. I don't know if I should mention that necessarily.
That's okay.
To give some background, the way I got into heavy metal, my dad would play Accept, Restless and Wild, Paul Di'Anno era Iron Maiden on the radio. I heard Deep Purple, and because as a really, well, not even when I was young, like before I was even born, my mom fell for that, like, playing classical music on the womb. Mm-hmm. So when I heard Deep Purple and I heard all that classical influence, you know, with the organs and Blackmore's guitar playing, I was like, wow, this is the type of music I want to listen to. Because before that, I mean, my parents played like Ramones, Johnny Thunders, New York Dolls, and I like that stuff too.
Yeah.
But, you know, once I heard metal and like all the more kind of intricate, like melodious stuff, I was like really hooked into it. And Iron Maiden and Scorpions were definitely like my favorite bands when I first got into metal. And from Iron Maiden, like reading about them, their history, I found out about new wave of British heavy metal.
Yeah.
From there, I listened to Saxon. Then I found bands like Holocaust and Blitzkrieg, and I read they influenced like Metallica and Megadeth. So from there, it just kind of went on until like I wanted to dive more into heavy metal. And then I remember, I think it was actually because of the YouTube algorithm, I discovered Heavy Load, who are like the godfathers of Swedish metal. And from there, I was just like, okay, I need to find more foreign bands, like beyond just American and British stuff. And that's really how that started.
Well, that's just amazing, your knowledge. As we were talking in our messages back and forth, I was amazed, like I said, at some of the music you were into. You sent me some songs and said, what do you think about this? And I was making references to like 80s Christian metal bands. And you're like, oh yeah, I know those guys. And I was like, what? So it was really tripping me out. But I think it's great that you've done all your research and that you really know what you're talking about.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we'll probably get back to that in a minute because I want to know some of your favorites and all. But let's talk about TREAZON. How did you guys come together?
Okay, so basically, I mean, ever since I first started playing guitar, like I picked up guitar because I wanted to write my own music. Mm-hmm. I ended up here in 2020 because my parents lost their job, and it was like a traveling, like sales type of thing. Mm-hmm. So we ended up in Glasgow, and I was just having the hardest time finding people because, I mean, you know, the COVID saying a lot of people weren't wanting to leave their house, whatever. Mm-hmm. But then after that, you know, and I don't mean this in a negative way, just like this is a hard area if you want to do anything beyond like a cover band, really. But especially,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, metal is a very select taste, and there are lots of metal fans out there. But we're in kind of an area here in Kentucky and northern Tennessee where that's not like the top, but there's definitely a fan base.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I'm not an ageist person at all, but I was always trying to like, because when I see bands that make it, I mean, they're obviously most of the time in the same age range, and I was really like wanting to do, because, you know, those rock revival bands, like even before recently, but like Greta Van Fleet and all that, you know, they get big because, oh, it's young guys playing a quote unquote old style of music.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know, let's do the same thing with traditional heavy metal, because there's bands that definitely kind of did the same thing a few years ago, got pretty big, but never got bigger than like the metal scene. You know, people know about like Cauldron and Enforcer, and those two bands are cool, but like I kind of figured since, you know, maybe like the marketing, because I know they got signed to a big label like Earache, but I was thinking, you know, if something happened here in the US where we kind of have more opportunities per se, you know, we could kind of go farther with that, or like at least kind of break through into like the more regular rock fans, if that makes sense.
Now, when we first started talking back last summer, it seems like you were telling me you were having a hard time putting a band together, but you and a friend, I make sure I'm getting this right, put together a tape, which I happen to have right here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, and tell us about this tape.
Okay, so I met Brody Busser through like a friend of my parents, like their son. So my parents met the Myers family at the previous Jackal concert in Glasgow at the Plaza.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And I talked to Dale, who's now in Otis, as you know, I'm sure. And at the time, he was trying to do some kind of metal project with his dad, and I kind of kept pestering him, like, hey, man, do you want to do the metal stuff?
So Dale from Otis, drums for Otis, he's into metal.
I definitely know he's into some. Like,
That's cool.
I know his dad's tastes. Like, I went over to their house, and I saw he had a Lizzie Borden cassette. So, his dad's definitely into metal. I know.
That's cool.
But he introduced me to Brody Busser because I mentioned I'm a huge Yngwie Malmsteen fan, and he introduces me to Brody. So I meet up with Brody at like the Shell gas station in Glasgow while wearing my Saxon shirt, and we're just kind of like talking about metal. And Brody has like a really eclectic taste, but when it comes to metal, like he's mutually into a lot of the same stuff. Like he surprisingly knew about like 220 Volt and like the early like Europe albums before Final Countdown.
Yeah.
And, then I'd show him, like, Gotham City, who are basically my favorite band. Showed him, or no, he actually knew Silver Mountain, I'm sorry, because they have, like, the Johansson brothers who also play with Malmsteen. He knew them, too.
Yeah. All right, little Yngwie for you on Bowler Grinch Classic Rock D93. And again, we have
Dylan Nightingale of Treason, and that is Treason with a Z instead of an S.
Yes. So you were telling me how you guys got together. So, Dale was kind of in the early picture, and then
he introduced me to Brody Busser, who originally, I don't want to undermine his guitar skills at all, because he does play on our first tape. He's like a virtuoso lead guitar player, and really, he just reluctantly switched first drums, but we kind of needed like a more experienced drummer, and now he's on bass, and I think he's really good at bass because he has like that Steve Harris, Geddy Lee type of vibe.
Nice.
So after we got our demo out, and I'll give you like a brief background on that if you just kind of want me to bring that up.
Yeah.
So I mentioned heavy metal rarities before. The guy who ran it, he had this YouTube channel that sadly got terminated because somebody like copyright striked him. It's called Rare and Obscure Metal Archives. He uploaded tons of the bands I liked, and his channel was definitely how I got into a few of them. I think like Virtue or one of those like really obscure new wave of British heavy metal bands I got into for his channel. But I talked to him on and off on his forum, and then like I remember I sent him like some of my guitar riffs and stuff, and because he was starting his label Black Rit, and he said he'd sign us if I get a band together. So we put that together. I got back in touch with Emil, and he really loved the material, so he decided to put it out on cassette. He promoted it on his channel. We had like 5K views or something on his upload before his channel got taken down.
Nice.
And from there, I was trying to just get more band members. I was really hyping up our band. We got a review from Metal Forces magazine, which is that UK magazine that was around during New Wave of British Heavy Metal movement.
Oh, yeah.
And it praised our demo, so I used that, and that's how we found our current singer, Wayne. And I found Braxton through like some obscure, like Find Local Musicians app that I'm pretty sure doesn't even exist now.
Yeah.
And Jaron, I talked to him before on Facebook, but like he's more of an extreme metal guy. So, and he was busy with his Ever band at the time. So, that was a bit of just trying to get him to join the band, like convince him, because I really wanted to try him out on drums because I heard his drumming skills. And I kind of had a mutual contact with him because my mom is friends with his mom. And, recently he just kind of, after a while of doing the black metal thing, he decided he wanted to give like more traditional heavy metal a chance.
All right. So not too long ago, you guys released a single. Tell everybody about that.
It's called On Fire. It's actually a demo. I just, it's kind of awkward to call it a demo single, but it's completely self-released, self-financed, whatever. And I really wanted to get that out just to kind of promote the current lineup of the band. Because, obviously, if you listen to our first demo and then listen to our current stuff, or even our live videos, we sound a bit different.
Well, you guys are evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm still the main songwriter. Like, Wayne is just writing a lot of the lyrics because even though I did all the lyrics on our first demo, I do kind of struggle with like, mental wall blocks, whatever you want to say. And Wayne is really into lyrics, so I've just been letting him tackle that. And you can kind of tell like some of his more like, Aerosmith and Motley Crue type of influences are like creeping into the sound a bit, but it's still kind of remaining in that more, like quote unquote true metal style that we started off doing. And I think it's like an interesting mix.
Okay, we're going to play it right now for everybody. Let them get an earful if they haven't checked it out yet.
Take a look in the book where the people get shook by the Bruce Brigade. I got my crazy old baby in the past like a lettuce and arms and never feels the same. It's hot and heavy, people race like a levy, but you won't back in the show. Give me all you take, with the fever shake, till I just can't take no more. I can't stop coming back. This girl's a heart attack. But the flames roll up on me. You gotta believe.
Tell everybody what we just heard.
All right, so that's a song called On Fire. We started writing it not too long after Wayne and Braxton joined the band. I just, like, one day tuned down a half step lower than usual. I came up with this riff that was kind of inspired. Like, I was trying to write that, like, mid-'80s Japanese heavy metal type of stuff.
Talking about a little loudness?
Yeah.
Easy-o?
Easy-O, yeah, for sure. Even, like, lesser-known in America bands like Sekimatsu, who are actually, like, the biggest band in Japan besides X. But I wrote it like that, but I realized it actually kind of sounded like Motley Crue. And then when Wayne came up with, like, vocal melodies and lyrics for it, it was sounding a lot like Motley Crue, you know, because we've had a ton of comparisons to that.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the direction the song went into. I wanted to do, like, more, like, speed metal version of, like, the early stuff of Motley Crue, you know, like the...
Too Fast for Love era?
Yeah, like that era.
Yeah.
Where it's more new wave of British heavy metal influenced.
Yeah.
But we also have, speaking of Nwabum, our next demo that I'm currently mixing. It should be out within a week of this interview, I hope. It's called Lady of the Night. We've been playing that one live. Very, very, like, German traditional heavy metal, like Scorpions and Stormwitch were some bands that influenced how I wrote that.
All right, so you guys are on the web. Tell everybody where you are on the web.
You can find us on Bandcamp, Treason, TREAZON.bandcamp.com. We're on Spotify. I believe we're on Deezer and, like, all those other, you know, like, Tidal. We're on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. Our user handle is Treason Metal, one word. Made it so that way it's easy to find.
And remember, that's Treason with a Z.
Yes, correct. I feel like adding this since I've been name dropping so many bands. So the name Treason, it came from an obscure new wave of British heavy metal band called High Treason. And then Virtue had a song called High Treason. And I actually asked some musicians that I had added on Facebook. Like, I asked Thomas Eriksson from a Swedish band who are, like, kind of the forerunners of, like, the modern traditional heavy metal bands. They're called Helvetets Port. I asked what he thought of the name Treason, because at first I was serious when I came up with it, but I thought it was kind of goofy, but also kind of cool. And he was like, "Oh, this sounds like a actual new wave of British heavy metal, man. You should use that for your name." And I was like, "Okay, so
done."
This guy.
Yeah. Now, before we go, real quick, some favorites. Your favorite band, you did mention your favorite band again.
It's Gotham City. Silver Mountain actually kind of tied to, and pretty high up there would be Loudness, ex-Japan, Sortilege from France, and let's see... Definitely, like, Deep Purple and Rainbow are very high up there. I love all eras of Rainbow, too. To all you Dio purists out there, you got, like, Dio's a fantastic singer, but you gotta give the Joe Lynn Turner stuff a chance.
Favorite album. 3 favorite albums.
Okay, 3 favorite albums? Well, Gotham City, The Unknown, obviously. I'm wearing a shirt of it right now. The self-titled debut album of a Swedish AOR band called Alien. And then for a third, wow, this is where... There's a lot of things that would be in, like, my top 10. I always have a hard time narrowing it down. That's why, like, if you read the interviews that we've done online, I'm, like, name dropping as many bands as I did in this interview.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm going to go with a third, it's just going to be because I've listened to it so many times throughout my life, except Restless and Wild.
That's a great album. Do you guys have any shows coming up anytime soon in the area?
In this area, I know... We have plans to play at Tidballs again, but I don't know if it's been confirmed, so I can't really say what day it would be.
Okay, so we'll just put that on the back burner.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go out. Again, everybody check their official websites.
Which is treason.bandcamp.com. Definitely check us out on Facebook, too. That's where I post all of our important updates, like shows, new releases, festivals, what have you.
Pick something off except Restless and Wild, and we'll go out with that.
Gotta be fast as a shark.